Hey, tervetuloa. Welcome to another episode of the International Business from Finland podcast with me, Mark Wiltshire, where I take you behind the scenes of my solo enterprise or toiminimi in Finnish, where I'm working with directors and business owners of Finnish companies, sharing your workload so you can focus on growing your business. As you know, I started my toiminimi company in 2019 and started invoicing my customers directly. I had experience at my other company, Xport, of sending e-invoices, but I'd always had help from my partner, Marco. And then I found myself on my own wondering, why is e-invoicing so confusing in Finland? The International Business from Finland podcast with Mark Wiltshire. Talking international sales, entrepreneurship, and making connections between Finnish companies, entrepreneurs, and workers migrating to Finland. Okay, I'm not sure if this episode is going to be simply me ranting about how complicated it is to interact with e-invoicing in Finland, or if you, the listener, will actually learn something. I hope so. Let's see how it goes. By the way, this refers to the operator system of e-invoicing as opposed to the bank environment where a company send e-invoices from its online banking service. I'm just sharing my struggle with the information I'm provided by my customers, not particularly complaining against any service provider, I guess the whole system in general. So even if you personally are comfortable using e-invoicing, might be an idea just to have a think and maybe review how you communicate your e-invoicing information from your company. In theory, e-invoicing is simple. 4 steps. I create a record for each customer with their payment details on my operator service. I enter the details of the work that I've carried out into the invoicing software. I attach any supporting documents, for example, timesheet for the work that I've completed, and then I click send, and the invoice details are transferred to the customer over the internet. Great, should be simple. It even works in reverse. Customers can send me invoices. I'll be honest, I'm less excited about receiving invoices than I am about sending them, but that's business. The incoming invoices are shown in a list. I can check the details and approve them. And my accountant, Michael, more details about Michael coming later, he can then arrange the payment. So what's the problem? Unfortunately, I've struggled several times with step number 1, creating a record for each customer with their payment details. I've lost track of the number of times I looked over my desk to Marco at Xport and said, I don't get it. Which number is which? And he very patiently explained again how the system works. I'm going to show you an example of this in a moment, but first of all, let me explain the info that I need to be able to send an e-invoice. And you can see here in Finnish, this is just a quick screenshot from my service provider, and I'll show you now in English. And there's 2 key pieces of information on this list. And it's the top 2, which in Finnish was vastaanottajan verkkolaskuosoite, which is the recipient's email address, and the other one, which is vastaanottajan välittäjän tunnus, the recipient's operator ID. It says broker on the screen, but operator ID. So what's my problem? I'm going to quote you some text from a couple of emails that I sent to my accountant, Michael, who has been very patient in explaining this to me. All the numbers below have been changed to this 1, 2, 3, 4 format, so no specific companies are identified. Unless your company's numbers actually are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would be one hell of a coincidence. So, let's see this. I sent this email to Michael in December 2019, saying, I have some questions about the terminology. Many Finnish companies use different terms and number formats on their e-invoicing. I don't know what all of these terms mean, and I don't know what the international or English terms are for these. It's really confusing. I can see these two numbers on my e-invoicing sheet, the OVT tunnus and the verkkolasku operaattori, and the details there are partly details from my account and from my operator account, but again with those anonymous numbers. And the second part of the number there is like a BIC number, BIC number that you get with a bank account. Back to the email. But looking at some of my customers, I can see these different terms with different names and number formats. Verkkolasku operaattori, and then the name, Opus Capita Solutions. So there's no number there. Operaattori Maventa. Again, there's no number there. Operaattorin välittäjän tunnus. And then an E with numbers. So a completely different number format. Verkkolasku osoitte. Now we have a number that actually looks like my details. Operaattori. BAWCFI22. So this is also looks like a BIC number for a bank account. And then välittäjän tunnus. Correct number, quantity of numbers, but it's been set out differently. Back to the email. If I want to send my e-invoicing details to someone outside of Finland, which terminology shall I use? Michael explained it to me like this, again, very patiently. Yes, I know this is all confusing. Your verkkolasku osoitte is 0037 plus your VAT number. Finnish VAT number is 8 digits long. This is called OVT-tunnus, the OVT ID. And the operaattori for your company is Maventa. And their valita tunnus, it starts 037 and then 8 digits. Or it could be the BIC number when the invoice comes from a bank operator. Then his final comment about the invoicing details. When you give your invoicing details to international companies, just give your email. I don't know how this e-invoicing works outside of Finland. None of my customers receive e-invoices from abroad, only by email. So to summarise, the vastaanottajan verkkolasku osoite, or recipient's e-invoice address, could be written as verkkolasku osoite or OVT-tunnus. OVT is or OVT is an abbreviation of Organisaatioiden välinen tiedonsiirto. In Finnish, the English equivalent is EDI, or Electronic Data Interchange, which is good to know, even if it's just to help with the concept or the context of what info is being requested. Also, if you're using the bank environment to send your e-invoices, then you might find here goes the BIC number. So again, referring back to what we saw before, it kind of explains why you were seeing a BIC number there. The vastaanottajan välittäjän tunnus, or the recipient's operator ID, could be written many different ways. Verkkolasku operaattori, or just operaattori, operaattorin välittäjän tunnus, välittäjän tunnus, välittäjätunnus. And you'll see in the show notes accompanying this all the different ways this might be written out. So why exactly is it there need to be so many different terms for the same info? Why do different organisations need to use different number formats? Am I the first and only person to find this difficult? Can't be. Let me know. Reach out to me on social media or by email, mark.wiltshire.tmi@gmail.com. I hope this has been useful to other new entrepreneurs, whether you're Finnish or international entrepreneurs, although I suspect if you're Finnish, then understanding these abbreviations is a little bit easier for you from the beginning. And my final comment is to anyone listening to this who owns or works in a Finnish company, just take a quick look at how you communicate your e-invoicing details to your partners. Can it be simpler? Can it use clearer terminology? Can you make life just a little bit easier for your partners? Can you make it less confusing? Okay, rant over. So as usual on podcasts, I'm going to ask you to rate and review this show, but I'll make it easier for you. Head over to ratethispodcast.com/Wiltshire, where you can leave a rating and a review for this show, and that will help me find new listeners and help people find my show. Also, if you found this podcast useful, interesting, entertaining, thought-provoking, then please feel free to buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Wiltshire. I'm British. I don't drink as much tea as I drink coffee. I live in the coffee drinking capital of the whole world, so feel free to pass a few caffeine beans in my direction at buymeacoffee.com/Wiltshire. And if you want to contact me, feel free to reach out at mark.wiltshire.tmi@gmail.com. Your email will come directly to me, and you'll also find more articles to read or episodes to listen to on my website, markwiltshire.com. Thanks as always to Mark from Dodo Bones for the theme music. And that's it for now. So until the next episode, goodbye.